Peace, fam. It's your brother Cool. I want you to peep this neighborhood right here. I want you to realize. Look at this. Look how nice this neighborhood is. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. See how quiet it is? You see how quiet it is? So this is a private neighborhood. Community. They got their own park. You know what I'm saying? The police, the police that live here, they live in the community. You'll be walking sometimes. Right now I'm in so-called the corporate Federal Way, Washington. I'm not in, but I'm at. Whatever you want to call it, right? I don't even want to get into that jurisdiction thing right now. But so this community is very quiet. They have their own. Like I said, the police live within the community. So everyone knows each other. This is where we need to get to as a people. This is where it's at. Where we can all live communally amongst each other in nice homes. You know what I'm saying? Nice places. And we can enjoy everything as a community. Because there's nothing but family here. Nothing but family. You know what I'm saying? Nothing but family here. So, look at this. This is the park I was saying. Look at it. So this is what we need to do as a people within the different state territories. Within the different territories that we are domiciling at. So, it ain't nothing hard. The hard part is getting people to come together and actually think on that wave. You know what I'm saying? That's the difficult part. But for people who know they're not property and they want to start owning property like our ancestors did, then we got to come together because our ancestors held property together. They came together and they formed cliques or gangs or tribes or governments, organizations, task force. Now I'm just saying, what's so hard about building our own community? And then people who are knowledgeable, who are truly trying to educate themselves and better themselves and want a better life for themselves and their posterity in alignment with divine law and being in honor with their ancestors, it won't be hard to put our resources together and snatch up a community, snatch up some land, build a community on that land. You know what I'm saying? Start having those seats filled up. We can have our own sheriff. We can have our own community watch or community police armed. You know what I'm saying? You just have to think it. We're in the age now where if it's a thought, it can happen. It can be created. And the more and more I study, the more and more I realize there's really nothing. There's really nothing. There is really nothing holding any one of us back except ourselves. We don't need a green light from anyone. We don't need permission from anyone. Even in reference to, you know what I'm saying, the filing of documents on a public record. You don't need the recognition of the United States. Now, if everyone truly understands that, then really people wouldn't give a fuck about filing shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm realizing this after the fact. All right? But still, right? As you can see by how things are operating here and seeing how everything is only here by the grace of the people, that a lot of the people are still a fucking asleep. A lot of the people are still asleep. So this is why the so-called black community or so-called African American community or so-called conscious community or even the so-called Moorish community is out of whack. And we haven't really seen a lot of progress. I'm not the type of person looking to see what the hell someone else has done. I'm thinking to myself, if I don't see it happening, that means I'm the one that gotta put it into manifestation. realization. I don't got no problem with that, because that means I get to do it my way. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at that. I get to do it my way. I get to set the bar. So my job here is to set the bar for myself, not for anyone else. I'm here to set the bar for myself and replications of myself. That's it. But even if we just understood that the United States is dissolved, truly. So even the reason why I operate the way I do in terms of finding the balance on both sides is because you have to find a balance that suits everyone's needs. You can't just be focusing on a certain group of people and then alienate the other group of people. How you doing, brother? Peace. You know what I'm saying? And alienate the other group of people. You got to accept both. You have to accept both sides. Meaning those who want nothing to do with it, who realize the fraud, and you say, yo, I'm cutting all ties. Boom. And for those who, what? Are still getting their roots grounded in. The tree is the roots of the tree is making its way back into the earth again. But it ain't fully rooted. It ain't fully grounded. So, what do? Only thing you can do is manage while you're getting rooted. But why can't you still be secure and protected and have that pressure and stress relieved off you while you're getting your confidence to detach? It's a mental thing to detach, to renounce U.S. citizenship. According to USC Title 8, Section 1481, loss of nationality. It's hard. It's hard. It's hard. I know it's hard because it took me a while to get to that point. It's hard. All right? For people who are just starting out to get to that point of completely relinquishing the titty of Rome, when that's all we've been sucking on. That's all that's been presented to us. All right? For us who know better, we need to show better and stop trying to beat up on people who know less. If they don't know less, how about we show some compassion? How about we show some love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice? Instead of being so quick to respond and take our brother and sister head off, why not we come to them with some understanding? Why not we come to them with some compassion, some mercy as God? We don't always got to be the iron fist. All right? We don't always got to be the iron fist. The iron fist is there to destroy things. Why not just put things into balance? I'm putting things into balance because at the end of the day, the objective is and will be to completely detach from Rome. Do you know why? Because according to the congressional records of 1993, Rome, or AKA the United States Incorporated, exists in name only. That means it exists in your mind. That shit is dissolved and bankrupt since 1933 when he took the gold. 1933 when they took the gold. So you also, this is for my brothers and sisters, Aborigines, who I'm saying who understand this more science. You have to take into consideration that Prophet El-Hajj Sharif Abdul Ali was not, I'm gonna repeat, he was not dealing with the type of system we were dealing with. You know how I know? Because the time he was still alive, they were still operating in gold and silver. He was living in a time where there was no mortgage, no rent. You held the state. So it's very easy in that time. And I'm not saying it's very easy to take away from what he did. What I'm saying is, let me rephrase that. It's a lot less complicated in that time than it would be in this time to do something like secure a vast estate when no one's dealing with mortgages or rent. Right? He's still dealing in gold and silver. So at that point, the United States he's talking about is still legit. They still have their sovereign capacity because they're still operating constitutionally. Okay? The man set up the Moorish temple in Jersey in 1913. All right? He died in 1928. And that's when the movement got reorganized. Anytime you hear about the term reorganized, you could think about the term bankruptcy. So that's when the Moorish Science Temple went bankrupt. Yeah, reorganization, bankrupt. Yeah, went bankrupt. Or we went bankrupt, right? So we went bankrupt in the reorganization. Then 5 years later, after 1928, then the gold gets confiscated. Okay? So Prophet Ali was not dealing with a governmental system that is not dealing with gold and silver. He wasn't dealing with that. So you have to hold that into account too, family. You really, really do. If you really, really claim that you really understand what the Prophet did and what this movement is about, then you have to understand all aspects of what took place. There were many things going on at the same time. All right? Remember, there was still gold and silver being used in circulation when the Prophet was alive. So when the Prophet was alive, he wasn't dealing with a bankrupt and dissolved United States Incorporated that is now dealing in Federal Reserve notes, which is a money substitute. It's not the money, it's a money substitute. So is credit. Credit is a money substitute. Oh, there's only one type of money: gold and silver and precious commodity and consideration. All right? So Prophet Drew Ali didn't have to deal with that type of system. We do. We got to deal with fictitious straw man 14th Amendment because there's no gold in circulation. And every person who tried to put gold in circulation got capped. Lincoln? Kennedy? Gaddafi? Castro? You see what I'm saying? Everyone who tried to put gold in circulation got capped. Y'all got to start seeing the pattern, man. Y'all got to start seeing the pattern. And the last thing, okay, this is how you know there was COINTELPRO infiltration within the movement. Because the last thing our adversaries want to see is us having or being aware of our state so that we can be in a position to once again start using gold and silver. This is why the Prophet got capped. And this is why 5 years later the gold was taken out the system. Because if that wasn't the case, then the whole system would have been ruined. And that even goes further back than the Prophet going into 1861 to 1865, which is during Lincoln's presidential reign. All right?